So I'm sure by now most of you have seen this viral video of this black woman. Her face is swollen, and she claims that she was hit in the face. She claims that a man hit her in the head with a brick simply because she didn't want to give the man her telephone number. She's crying and she's yelling. And she's yelling at the men in the area, basically saying that they failed to protect her. And she's basically questioning their manhood and everything, and she's calling out them as black men. So it's not just a situation of her speaking about them as men generally. She's talking about these black men doing nothing in the face of this kind of violence that she had to deal with. And then she reiterates these points in a later video clip where she's in the hospital with a swollen face. The swelling is even larger when she's in the hospital. It's huge. And, some people have taken a prior video clip of her talking about how women are the protectors, and, where she's basically talking about how she wants to be with a woman and all that kind of stuff. They're using that clip to try to completely discredit her. And here's what I have to say about this whole situation. First of all, none of us were there, but for the sake of argument, I'm going to assume that what she's saying is actual facts. If it is true that a man hit this woman with a brick simply because she wouldn't give them her telephone number, I think that is crazy. I think that man needs to be apprehended and locked up, and he should be punished in a court of law if he did this. I think that it's one of the weakest things that a man can do is to lash out physically or verbally simply because a woman doesn't want to accept your advances. You are not entitled to every woman that you see. Women have every right to not accept your advances. And I just think that it is juvenile, it is abusive, it is disgusting that a man would actually put his hands on a woman, or let alone throw a brick at a woman simply because she doesn't want his advances. And this epitomizes what women have been complaining about in terms of street harassment, and this is absolutely ridiculous. And I think that men in the area witnessing something like this have an obligation to do something. At the very least, contact the police. If, intervene, say something, do something to stop this from happening. And a woman doesn't have to be your spouse or your relative for you to have decency, for you to do what a decent citizen should do. If this was your daughter, would you want the men to just stand around and let them throw a brick at her face? Would you want to do that? And the other point that I want to address is, this video clip that people are showing to try to discredit her. Of course, I don't agree with what she said in that video clip, but I don't think that in any way detracts from the point that if this actually occurred in front of those men, they should have done something to prevent it from happening, or they should have done something afterwards. Get the man's license plate number, report it to the police. Do something. Do what you would want a man to do if that was your daughter or your mother or your sister or your girlfriend or your wife, and you're not around. Wouldn't you want somebody to protect them? And it's just a shame that some of these men have such hatred and animosity towards black women that they use this horrible incident as an opportunity to further bash black women into the dust. It's a disgrace and a shame. And there's another point that I want to add. You hear black men often on social media talking about how black men should be the leaders, that black men are the protectors, but these same black men, and I'm not talking about all or even most, these same black men that are part of the so-called manosphere are the same people that shrink when it's time for a man to do what a man is supposed to do, and that's to protect and provide. These men shrink from that responsibility while they want women to respect them as the leader and all that kind of stuff. How the hell are you going to respect somebody as a leader when they don't have the courage or the basic decency to protect women?